picture and starting grid shows you the order. This is a handicap race, so they'll be waved off in phases for 8 laps. Now, we had one of these yesterday, and it worked an absolute treat. It came right down to the wire. Very entertaining stuff. So hopefully the handicappers have done the job again, and we're going to get a really good show. So Robbo Robinson, Grant Crosby, Nick Ross, the top 3, then Craig Boot, Tristan Tecchi, and that awesome Camaro, and Angus Fogg and Andy Knight, who is right at the very back in the Chevy Camaro, having won earlier today. We're minus a couple of cars in this one that won't take the starter, but still a feisty little field as we get set for the finale of the program today. 8 laps, the scheduled duration for the Napa Central Muscle Cars. Purple Mustang with gold wheels, that's a bit of me.
That is a very, very cool looking car, and all of these are cool looking cars. They're all something you'd love to have. Well, I certainly would, and no doubt you would, Richard Crowell, in our sheds at home. But as we see there, the Batman or Batmobile, it's got on the number plate, delivery car of Tristan Tecchi. So we will see. I'm sure he'll be hoping he's got the support of the Dark Knight out there, and he can try and get a good result.
The forces of good trying to get past the evil of his rivals, I wonder. I am told apparently the livery and the theme of it comes from one of the Batman comics, so I haven't delved that deep into Batman lore, but I like it. I like the personality behind it too, and the fact that it shoots 5 flames out the back every time it gets off the throttle.
Well, all we need now is someone to deliver out their car like the Joker. And then we've literally got the whole Shazam. But
imagine the stewards hearing after that one. So the Kiwi flag drops. This is the handicap start. So Robbo Robinson, that 65 Mustang, is away. So he gets the biggest advantage of them all. And this is based on lap time and their performance over the weekend to this point.
Oh, but licorice straps getting dropped by Robbo Robinson and the Mustang as he gets round turn 2. And it's so odd seeing, the start of a race, only one car gets going. But that's the beauty of this type of racing for the muscle cars. Now Central Muscle Cars. Look at this group. We've got Grant Crosby, Tristan Tecchi, Craig Boot, and Nick Ross going hammer and tong down towards turn 1.
And then Foggy and Knighty are away at the back. So they've got the biggest handicap of all, and they're going into turn 1, and the leader, Robbo Robinson's into turn 6 already, so he's a couple of Ks up the road. I love Nick Ross launched that car off the line, and it burst into wheel spin, and it was sliding around. Here's this battle pack now. Cast your mind back if you were with us earlier today. These guys spent a lot of that race battling. Grant Crosby wasn't in that mix, but Tecchi and Craig Boot Nick Ross were all in this fight early on, as Crosby has a look around the outside into 6 of the Dodge Challenger.
It certainly is, and Andy Knight and Angus Fogg have gone side by side for about 6 corners, so that's pretty cool. So we look back there, the shot, them going into Higgins. Andy Knight might have just got the move done on Angus Fogg. Tristan Tecchi's leading this group of cars. Craig Boot there, he's had a great run this weekend, and he'll be looking to continue the trend of podiums he's had so far. As we go down the last corner, Andy Knight, followed by Angus Fogg there in the black and gold, the J.A. Russell Ford Mustang.
Foggy gets across the line, so to Andy Knight. So they cross the line, they're 35 seconds behind Robbo Robinson, the race leader. That's the margin, 35 seconds.
And that Mustang Angus Fogg's isn't looking very symmetrical, but unfortunately had some issues on the Friday. Unfortunately ended up in the wall, catching one of the painted white lines in the damp conditions. But we look now, going through the hairpin, the Batmobile, getting chased by Mustang Heli there. Craig Boot, down towards Hill's corner. You can see there in the background, in the distance, Andy Knight and Angus Fogg. Coming down the back straight, Tristan Tecchi, Angus Fogg, Camaro versus the Mustang.
I hope the tortured sound of a tyre being destroyed on the fence bike running down. I think it might have been turn 1 perhaps from our race leader, but you can hear that screech of a tyre being locked up. So Andy Knight, his car on the racetrack at the moment, lap 3 of 8. And this battle continues. Tecchi under pressure, Boot has looked down the inside of turn 1. There's an argument that you want to race each other, but also there'd be an argument for just to drive the things as hard as you possibly can to try and pull that 30-second margin down.
Yeah, but that margin in the last couple of laps is now 30 seconds between Andy Knight and Angus Fogg, so they are closing in at a pretty quick rate of knots onto the rest of the pack. We see there Grant Crosby, Nick Ross coming through the hairpin, Craig Boot now trying to put the power down on the Mustang, chasing Tristan Tecchi. So that group of cars has actually started to spawn out a bit, and they've all got a little bit of breathing room now. We can see those two cars though, Andy Knight and Angus Fogg, they've started to get much closer than they were the previous lap to the group ahead.
Well, and I wonder if a bit of common sense here, and maybe the teams have been on the radios going, guys, Andy Knight and Angus Fogg are coming at you really quickly. You need to get your head down, try and close that margin on Robbo Robinson, who's just started his 4th lap of the race. And he's going into the final corner. The margin ever dwindling. Just for comparison, Robinson last time round 1 minute 15.7 and 11.5 for Tristan Tecchi, 109.9 for Andy Knight. So that's the speed difference between them. Oh, Foggy under brakes, car swerving around.
The rear end of that Mustang pretty taily, and then it shoots flames on the exit, even better. So Angus Fogg always putting on a show in the number 11, the Angus Fogg Racing prepared Ford Mustang.
Great boot with a big slide coming out of Splash, the rear end of his Mustang, moving around. And Knight is absolutely flying, 24 seconds now behind Robbo, the leader, 17.4 seconds between he and this man, Tristan Tecchi, who's coming out of turn 6 out of Higgins and along the long back straight. That ultra high speed entry into the final corner. So the objective of the handicapping is that they all end up on top of each other in the final lap of the race. It worked a treat in the first handicap race of the weekend.
Yeah, we watch those guys come down the front straight now. Tecchi, Boot, Ross have actually managed to gap Grant Crosby a bit. That gap's now 13 seconds, so they're getting closer and closer to the back of Robbo Robinson. Andy Knight and Angus Fogg, they're also in turn closing in on the back of Grant Crosby, so those gaps are starting to dwindle.
Less than 20 seconds first to last now. So remember, at the end of lap 1 it was more than 30. So already they've found 10 seconds. We're still halfway through. We've got plenty of racing to go. These guys are just settled down, not battling each other so they can try and hold this margin in, because they know that Andy Knight and Angus Fogg, who was the quickest driver on the racetrack last time by and set the quickest lap of the race, are catching them very quickly.
They're actually they were on the same straight going down that straight towards Higgins there, so they can see Robbo Robinson in the long distance down there. It's not a mirage, it is actually Robbo Robinson, and they're getting closer and closer. So we should start to see these cars will start to close in pretty soon in the next lap or so. Grant Crosby's now coming under heavy pressure from Andy Knight and the number 5, the 1970 Camaro. Down the straight they come, listen to those V8s roar. Down towards turn 1, Andy Knight's going to throw it down the inside of Grant Crosby. He gets the move made. So Crosby's now moved back towards. Now he's going to be into the clutches of Angus Fogg coming up over this next lap. Andy Knight coming through turn 2 down the car. A bit of a movement in the rear of that car. Wouldn't have liked it snapping on him like that. Coming towards the hairpin now.
Well, the pressure's on for these guys too, Ronan, because they've got to make quick work of the cars they're getting through if they're going to get to Robbo Robinson. So, while we're talking about the fact that Tecchi and Boot and Ross need to focus on their own race and not slow themselves down by battling, the fastest guys that had the biggest handicap have got to get through them clearly. Big lock-up from Andy Knight going into Higgins, torch the inside front, so shows you how hard he's driving the car. Meanwhile, Robbo Robinson out in front, quickest lap of the race for that car's a 15.6. Last time round he did a 15.8, so he's very consistent, just punching out laps. 2 laps to go, and we'll give you the margin as Tristan Tecchi crosses the line. It's 5.2 seconds. They're going to get to him, it's just a question of when.
If they pull 4 seconds out of Robbo Robinson this lap, it may just be 1 lap too long for him to try and stay in that lead, but let's see what Robbo's got in the Mustang. He may be able to pull something out of the hat, and we see there Tristan Tecchi in that Batman inspired Camaro. Very cool car, looks almost stealth like, coming into the hairpin there. He's got Craig Boot, Nick Ross up behind him. Grant Crosby's fallen off that train and unfortunately lost a couple of spots to Andy Wright and Angus Fogg. So come down towards Hagan's corner. Nick Ross opens up the legs on the Hemi-powered Dodge Challenger.
It's going to take a big final lap for Andy Knight. It's going to be massive because he's got to get past Nick Ross, Craig Boot, Tristan Tecchi and Robbo Robinson, who's still got a couple of seconds up his sleeve. This will go down to the final lap. It does feel slightly inevitable because 5.2 seconds has become about 2.5 now. One lap to go this time by Ronan Murphy.
If anyone can do it, Andy Knight certainly can. We've seen how explosively fast that Chevrolet Camaro is. As we come down to turn one for the final lap, Robbo Robinson, he's still leading the way. He's led every single lap of this race so far. He would hate to lose it on the last lap. That beautiful Mustang, that maroon colour. Tristan Tecchi, though, is right behind. Craig Boots also in turn behind him.
And Andy Knight is right there as well. So Fogg not far off the back. So the top six all covered by less than 5 seconds as they cross the line. They're now all locked together. And this should be the moment for the lead here. Tristan Tecchi gets a great run out of the left-hand hairpin and powers his way into the race lead. So Tristan Tecchi is through. Knight looking on the outside of Ross. There's no space there.
Come now, this is where the action's starting to unfold. So Craig Boot now looking to try and pass Robbo Robinson, the Mustang Brigade, down the back straight. Nick Ross there, he's trying to defend from Andy Knight. What's going to happen here? Craig Boot's going to stay there on the inside of the last corner. Andy Knight's now up behind Nick Ross. Is he going to be able to get up the inside?
Checkered flag flies. Tristan Tecchi wins the final Napa Central Muscle Cars race. And Andy Knight went from 31 seconds to 1.4 off the lead, finished fourth. He missed out and spot the podium by a tenth of a second.
You got to feel a little bit for Robbo Robinson. Led every lap of the race except the last one we see there.
Yeah, still a skid.
The drag strip king, Tristan Tecchi, doing a big burnout. Look at that for a peeler down there at turn two. And the dark night.
So he missed the equivalent race yesterday to go up to Wanganui and run the drags, which he won.
Well,
So he's had a couple of big wins this weekend.
well, Richard, as you'd say, the dark night rises. He has risen.
You could say that. That is outstanding.
Batman's driven a lot of cars over the years. Probably not a 69 Camaro, though, and he probably hasn't been able to burn it down like Tristan Tecchi is right now. Look at that for a way to wrap up the Repco Next Gen New Zealand Championship.
Well, we had burnouts from Black Beauty, the A1 GP car at the historic GP at Topor earlier this year. What an appropriate way to finish this incredible second season of Repco Next Gen NZ with burnouts from Tristan Tecchi in a gripping Napa Central Muscle Car race. Oh, it's been such a pleasure to be part of this championship over the summer, and that is a really appropriate way to end it, Ronan, with fun. A fun motor race, and that is what this summer has been.
What a pleasant way to end the day here in Manawatu with a bit of dressage from the Dark Knight down the back straight there at Manfield.
Tristan Tecchi wins it, Craig Boot second, and Nick Ross there. Andy Knight drove the wheels off the Camaro, started more than 30 seconds behind.